Alrighty. Welcome in, everybody, to episode 30 of the Sports Journal podcast. We made it to 30 episodes. Don't know how we did it, to be honest with you, but we did. As always, it's Matthew, Trey, and my boy Garrett. And today, guys, we'll be going over the NFL draft that just happened. We'll also be going over some NHL and basketball. But first, the draft. Cam Ward going first overall. Everyone kind of expected this. We all knew what was going on. Genty going to, Jacksonville, which, no, wait, sorry, my bad. I screwed that up. Raiders. My bad. I always assumed that the Jags would have taken him, but
no, Jacksonville got.
because I thought they would trade Etienne. That's what I thought.
Nah, I mean, there's a bunch of question marks for the NFL draft in general because Tennessee got a good quarterback in Cam Ward.
Yep.
But here's the thing: who's he going to throw it to? They got Tyler Lockett, but he's old.
They still have Ridley, right?
Yeah, but
I mean, he ain't the same Ridley as before, though. That's the thing. He ain't the same.
He's got to get separation.
He's got. I saw that his college receiver got drafted. Restrepo, I think
so.
But he went for 1,100 yards, something like that. 40 receptions, 1,100 yards, some crazy like that. He's a fast, smaller guy, but you got him. I mean, he's got a couple guys at least.
Yeah. So, this is interesting. So, real quick, little side note here. Damian Lillard is potentially out for 25-26 season. He tore his Achilles.
Mm-hmm.
He's done.
So unfortunate.
Anyway, but the big story of the NFL draft was the sliding of Mr. Shedeur Sanders. And there was a lot of speculation as to why he slid as far as he did. Now, I choose to believe the story is that his draft interviews were not good. That's the only way I can say. Because I know some people are like, oh, it's because of his dad being a part of it. It's like, dude, it's Dion. He has nothing to gain from having his kid go wherever he goes. So the Browns have they call it a stacked quarterback room, which is, it's stacked in the way that there's like 7 guys in it. But I don't know. I don't think Shedeur will make the roster. If he does, he's going to be a third string guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think he was overconfident in his on the field abilities that he kind of allowed the whole draft interview thing to take a back seat and not focus on that so much. But in today's day and age, I mean that matters, right? You can't, no matter how good you are, you still need to have some form of presence in that interview and be able to answer questions and not say I never went to a single class like he did.
Yeah. So you have to have some sort of humility, I guess. Be humble.
Mm-hmm. And
it doesn't sound like he's a guy because I feel like one scout said that he was a product of Travis Hunter, and Travis Hunter was not a product of Shedeur. And Hunter, good on him, man. He's going to Jacksonville. I don't think they used him as a wide receiver, though. I can see them moving him more as a defensive player because over the season, I thought he was better as a defensive player.
Or they can use him for both.
Oh, they could, but it's hard.
It's different now.
They'll try to use him, like have a couple packages built in for him to be a wide receiver, slot player, and a couple formations for sure.
But I think they got a pretty good. At least Trevor Lawrence was looking for a guy that he could throw to, at least on a consistent level and basis, and so he got that kind of in spades with that. But moving on from that, some other big picks some guys that I think fell under the radar. Quinn Ewers falls to the 7th round, which is interesting because for 3rd round on to 4th, 5th, 6th, he was a lot of people's Mel Kiper and everyone. He was a lot of people's best available. Now people are wondering why did Quinn drop? I said it's because there was no certainty that he was going to go back to college or not, because he had hinted that if not drafted, he might go back to college. And I think Miami picks up a pretty good quarterback, to be honest with you. I mean, he'll be okay. He'll be slotted in pretty well, I think. Learn under Tua. Learn hopefully not to get as many concussions as him, but
I mean, he's Quinn's type of quarterback. He can try and he can try and win you some games. Like it's just in the right system. But here's the thing: it's just because he might play this year just based on Tua's health in
Yeah.
general. Because we don't know how Tua is going to be like if he's going to get hurt probably in week 2 of the season.
Oh, he will.
Like I just
Yeah.
God forbid if he does, then like just if Quinn does like get the nod start, I mean I can see him winning some games for Miami.
Yeah.
So like because Miami still got Tyreek Hill. He's probably not going to be like saying productive wise, like in stats and like
Mhm.
yak yards ain't gonna be the same, but like he's still there as a threat. And they got Waddle, and like they still got a good, decent team around them, but I just don't see them making a huge jump with Quinn. I know Quinn was a 7th round pick, but at the same time,
He only take you so
Miami,
far.
yeah, so far, like Miami is like they just have some holes in their offense and also their defense is like they're not there yet to compete for a Super Bowl. Not yet.
One pick I thought that kind of surprised me in a way, I think, was the Bears picking Colston Loveland, the tight end at 10. I don't know. I just felt like they needed something better than that. I understand you need a tight end, but I don't know. I think you could have used line help. You could have used an edge. Just something or the other could have helped.
Yeah, I mean, we saw what the Cowboys did. They went offensive line. I think a lot of people like Micah Parsons was a part of. I think it was DraftKings. They had a NFL watch party for the first round, and they showed his reaction when they announced that pick, and he didn't really like it. So I think that's going to be one of those picks. It's not very popular on the surface, but later in the season, I think it'll be pretty well. It'll be a pretty good pick.
Well,
Hopefully,
their overall grade for the draft, they gave them A minus.
I mean,
Because you
that's a
do get
win.
Tyler Booker, who, yeah, I like Tyler Booker. Don't get me wrong. I think he's going to be an impact player, but I get why the pick was made because you need to replace the guys that left
Zach
your
Martin.
offensive line earlier. You have to do that. That's just a guarantee.
Because we still got like our regular like starters. We still got Big B. We still got Tyler Smith. So like at right guard, Tyler Booker will be a perfect replacement for Zach Martin. The only problem is our right tackle. It's still an issue. Both our left and right tackles are still going to be an issue, and that's what's going to get Dak killed out there. So we just still could try to like that's like our like Achilles heel on the offensive line is our tackles, both of our tackles.
Yeah,
Unless we can try and slide Tyler Smith to the being a left tackle, but he likes to be a left guard. But like we just gotta see because he can play both, but like we just got like who's gonna willing to sacrifice and play like a different role on the offensive line. So we just gotta see
Yeah,
because I like the pick. I like our like how we dropped it around. We got an edge rusher from Boston College. That's a good pick.
that'll be fun. Have
The pair,
Parsons and
yes, the pair
one
with
of the
Mecca, perfect. Um,
yeah,
we got cornerback depth, but at the same time, because we don't know what Trayvon Diggs' health is going to look like at all. Because like now, like our cornerback situation is now like in limbo because Deron Bland keeps on getting hurt, and then whenever Deron Bland gets healthy, Trayvon gets hurt. So it's kind of like, can we get them like consistent health? Because like we don't have every like now, like our DBs are like now question marks now, like health
yeah,
wise.
yeah.
We just got to get better in that aspect. But in general, it was a win for the Cowboys for me on my end because I feel like we got better long term than short term. But yeah, it was a win. I agree with the grades A minus,
Yeah.
which
I'll say it's interesting. I'm like interviews aside, I'm surprised the Saints didn't draft a quarterback. That just shows in the first round. Excuse me. That just shows like their confidence in Derek Carr, or they're just hoping something opens up in free agency. Like I would have maybe I think I would have drafted a quarterback. I'm not sure if I want Derek Carr back there anymore.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know about drafting one, at least trading maybe for a lower tier quarterback, like kind of like the Vikings did. They got Sam Howell, and all they had to give up was a fifth round pick, and so that wasn't that bad. Because Sam Howell, obviously, he's not great, but he's got his flashes of okayness. I thought the Vikings did okay. I'm not really happy with their picks. I mean, Donovan Jackson, offensive guard, first in the first round, 24th overall. I like that's fine with me. I'm okay with that. It's just they did get Ty Felton, wide receiver, so that leaves pressure off, JJ and everyone else. But everyone else, like they got a linebacker, a defensive lineman, then a tight end. Like that's all they got. I'm like, okay, I wanted a cornerback, but because our cornerback situation has been just shot. I mean, just hasn't been good since then. I mean, I will say though, getting Kelvin Banks though for the Saints, if I'm the Saints, I'm pretty happy with that because he'll be really good. Do I feel that Tyler Show is going to be good as a quarterback? He's kind of like Spencer Rattler in a way. Like he just doesn't. He's just never gonna. I don't think he'll ever do much. I mean, he'll just be there as a placeholder essentially.
Mm. Be a career backup if he plays his cards right.
Yeah.
And then I know everyone was expecting the Giants to take Shedeur and or Travis Hunter.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought he was gonna go.
But I like them taking Abdul Carter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he'll be good.
Yeah, now we got.
There's a reason why they. Yeah. The Jackson Dart kind of is interesting to me at least because I thought there was better quarterbacks available than Dart, but maybe they saw
us later in the draft too.
Yeah.
Him and Tyrone Tracy paired together should be a good, like, it's like a Detroit Lions backfield almost. You have Scadaboo, who's the power guy, and Tracy, who's the more elusive receiver guy.
Yeah. I gotcha. Now, one thing I didn't understand was the Jets taking Armand Membo. I know he was one of the best available as an offensive tackle, but I thought there was more pressing needs on defense that the Jets needed than offensive line.
Yeah.
They
need
nothing. I'm not going to say a word.
There's nothing I say is going to help. The Jets, the Jets are going to do the Jets thing, like they did last year. Nothing else.
Speaking of the Jets, former Jets interim head coach Jeff Ulbrich. Did y'all see his son do the prank call on Shedeur?
Yep.
Yep.
And then he was forced to apologize. Mm-hmm. But reading his apology, it just seemed like it was not AI generated. It just seemed like someone else wrote it for him. He would just post it. He's like, all right, whatever.
Oh, I'm sure he didn't mean a single word of it.
I mean, I don't know. I understand it's supposed to be like people are like saying it's soft, like you should just like it's a prank, But I understand it. I kind of get why people are upset because it's like this is a kid's life here. You're just kind of screwing with. I don't know. I just think I thought it was funny.
I mean, it can go both ways. Yeah, I mean, we all I think it's kids being kids, so type of thing. So it's like we don't know no better. So it was like at the same time, but like people were like, yeah, you're playing with a man's life now, like profession, so on like live TV, and it wasn't really like why, but like in the moment. So it's kind of like, hey, it's not really cool in the moment, but I can understand why people think it was funny because, it was funny as a prank call. All prank calls are funny. So, it's just at the end of the day, it's just like it's a guy's livelihood on the line that,
for sure.
Yeah. So,
and I gotta give. Yeah, exactly. You're right. You're 100% right. I gotta give props though to Seattle for drafting Jalen Milroe. In the third round, I think he'll be a steal because he looked good in college, and for a team like the Seahawks, I think his he'll I don't know if he'll fit in right away, but I think he'll fit in pretty well.
He's gonna be like the Michael Penix draft pick, learn under Geno Smith, throughout the season. I know
Mhm.
Seattle's probably not gonna make the playoffs this year unless they make a run like no other.
Mhm.
I can see Jalen Milroe start probably like the tail end of the season, probably like in like late November, probably like around Thanksgiving, just because I just can't see Seattle making the playoffs this year just based off the roster itself.
Hmm.
But like who knows? But because they lost DK Metcalf
Yeah.
via trade to Seattle to the
The the,
Pittsburgh Steelers.
the Terror Twins, the MMA twins, gonna be terrorizing the fighting both sides.
Oh my
There's too
gosh!
much aggression going on between those two. Yeah,
And
it'd be
that's
like
my
Antonio
okay.
Brown times 2.
Speaking of the Steelers, they had multiple chances to getting a quarterback, but no, they did not. Because what they do need a quarterback. Now they got to rely on Mason Rudolph.
I mean, what are you talking about? Mason Rudolph's the best quarterback ever. I mean, that's what they seem
Garrett,
like
get
they're
out.
thinking. That's what it seems like. Like,
I
why are
guess
you
so. I guess
relying on Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett? Like, what are we doing here?
like I guess they're like the best like quarterback in Pittsburgh Steelers history. Like I'm sorry,
Unless
Big Ben. I'm
They're
so
waiting.
sorry.
I
unless they're
honestly think
getting
they're waiting for
Rodgers.
Aaron. Yeah, I think they're waiting for him. That's why they didn't draft anyone. I think they're waiting for
Oh
Rodgers.
my gosh. I mean, I could see it happening, and there's gonna be a bunch of backlash for it because why are you getting older when you should go young?
I
It's like Big Ben in his final season.
yeah.
Like, because just imagine if they took Shadir. Problem solved. You got a young quarterback. You can build around the team. Like
What's
with him,
what's crazy about that is that all the Pittsburgh fans didn't want to draft him.
why? You're like you already got a solid defense at like part of top 10 defense, top 5 probably.
Well,
And then the only problem was their offense kept on like just wetting
Sputtering,
themselves
yeah.
like especially in the big games. So it's
Well,
kind of like
I thought their defense let them down though in the playoff against. I understand you're going against
Baltimore of all teams.
Baltimore and King Henry. I get that, but your defense. The only person that looked like they was trying in that game was TJ, and even then he needs all the help.
Nah, it's just one of those things where it's like take talent over like what's on your draft board, or like best available, then on your draft board because like you can't like take away like talent.
Yeah,
Because that's what we did with CD. That's how we got CD. Like when in the 2020 NFL draft, he was the best available. We weren't planning on drafting him, but we were like, you know what?
give him a shot.
Why not? And guess what? He's the franchise wide receiver now.
When you look at all of the best wide receivers and you look at the stories, Jerry Rice wasn't supposed to originally be drafted by San Fran. You look at Randy Moss. Nobody wanted to take him. Someone just took a shot on him. The Vikings took a shot because he had all those off field issues. CDs. No one. Cowboys weren't looking to draft him. They just said give him a shot. Justin Jefferson, the same thing. And just those franchise changing wide receivers. I think a lot of teams are just like, let's give them a shot, see what happens, and then they turn out to be either gold or bust. But moving on from that, we'll go to the NBA playoffs now. There's no series that to me I've watched that looks close. The only one that's currently tied is the Clippers series that's tied at 2 games all.
That's the best series in all of the first round so far. That's probably the best like pure basketball, playoff basketball that I've seen so far. Because pretty much like all the other like playoff series is just pretty much like it's like physicality, but it's like not like nothing like pure like great playoff basketball. Because like that series right there is a perfect example of a chess match.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
I'll also say the Knicks and Pistons, it's 3-1, but it seems so much. It should be closer than that because I feel like the Pistons have been in every single game. They just can't pull it out, and they just give the game away, and the Knicks take the lead, and that's that. I think that could be.
They were locked by 1 point last night too, which was
exactly.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know if y'all watched the game or not, but Tim Hardaway got fouled.
Oh yeah,
But they didn't call it.
no.
And what's crazy enough, see, this is why I do not like whenever the refs do like late game. I mean, I like the idea of the refs talking about like their calls, especially like doing like post game interviews. The head ref during the Knicks and Pistons game 4 said like, "Hey, we should have made that call. We should have made that call at the end." Like, okay, like what's the
Why didn't you?
Doesn't matter now.
why didn't you do it in the first place? Like, there's like, what am I gonna do with this now? I'm
Yeah.
already down 3-1. Highly likely to lose the series like against New York. Like our backs are against the wall now. So I'm kind of like, well,
Yeah.
because
I
here's
mean,
my thing.
they just
Think
they
about,
just gotta fight back somehow. Like throw a punch, throw something. I mean, if you're gonna go out fighting. That's the way I always looked at it.
Isaiah Stewart's out, so they can't do that. So
Well, you know what I mean. Like they gotta do something.
so okay, speaking
But
of physicality though,
yeah,
Jaylen Brown for the Celtics says something how Orlando was being too physical with them.
Too physical.
Yeah, I was, and then I'm trying to remember like verbatim. I might be talking out my butt, but no pun intended. Like just because they were saying like, oh, they're playing like too physical, and it's like they get like dial back,
yeah.
Play a
and
professional sport.
exactly, and then Orlando. Now knowing for their offense, like they're hard nosed defense, and it's just like they're 1 point guard away. I'm telling you straight up, they're one solid point guard away that can create for himself away from being like a top 4 in the Eastern Conference. And that's why if they can load all their draft picks and send them to Atlanta and then they trade for Trae Young, we're gonna be seated because Orlando's gonna be something if they can pull that off. So
I doubt it, but hey,
I doubt it, but
people can dream.
people, yeah.
You can
The
dream.
Cavs are obviously going to sweep the Heat. I mean, that's kind of a given. Good. I mean, good on the Heat for at least putting on effort. The only team, I think they're the only team in the playoffs that came into those playoffs with a losing record. Correct.
Yep.
So that, and then Rockets and Warriors. That's actually a pretty solid series.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be Golden State and 6 because I think Houston's gonna win tonight whenever they play, and then Golden State's gonna like win in Game 5, and then Game 6 they're gonna take it home.
Experience wins out. That's my thing.
Because here, I'm gonna hold everyone's hands on this. If Steph Curry pulls it out once again and finds a way to make it to the finals once again, we're gonna have some uncomfortable conversations in the offseason. Talking about, well, because he has 4 championships, LeBron has 4. And if Steph finds a way to get 5 with that roster, yeah. We're gonna have some conversations. We're gonna have some conversations right now. Because everyone's saying like, why put Curry over Kobe?
Mamba mentality. That's why. That's the only reason why.
That's the only. I was like, because
Kobe's
he
up
was
top.
like, that's the thing. People do not want to have that kind of conversation if Steph pulls it off.
I
But
don't know.
that's the thing, because especially like, here's
Yeah,
my thing.
You just can't. It's hard to mention them in the same sentence.
I know that's the thing.
Steph and LeBron, 2 different people, 2 different players.
Because here's the thing. Because if Steph pulls it off, because here's the thing. Steph changed the way the game is played. Whenever he started shooting threes, and like in 24, like whenever he's began doing like Steph Curry stuff, like in 2014, and that's when everyone, like all the centers started like shooting threes. The whole NBA changed, and that's why he might go down like in history as like the probably the most like influential, like same with AI, as the most like influential like basketball player and like to ever play. Because he pretty much changed the game, how the game is played. Because all the centers like to play like shoot threes now, but But I can see a mini goat in the distance with Anthony Edwards because the way that man, because that's the other thing. If Minnesota highly likely they're probably going to beat the Lakers, and then if Golden State beats Houston, they're going to meet in the semis. If Anthony Edwards somehow Minnesota finds a way to beat Golden State, yeah, I think we found like our next face of the NBA with Ant. But
Yeah.
we just got to find out because like Ant got all like he has like the roster can come, just like Ant just got to take us to the promised land.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think with LeBron, if he gets eliminated in the first round, I think that those GOAT conversations start turning more towards back to
MJ.
Michael, just because it's like, dude, listen, you couldn't, you have a second legitimate co-star,
Mm-hmm.
even though I think Luka's a little bit better. That's just me.
Not wrong.
But it's just like you can't win with Luka. You can't. It's not Scottie Pippen, obviously, but it's one of the closest things you're going to get. I mean, you had Anthony Davis and you won a ring, but it was a Mickey Mouse ring. So if you really wanted to say that, I think if you want legitimate championships, obviously they're 4-4, each have 4, but a lot of people don't recognize that COVID year as a real thing. But I don't know. It's a tough scenario for each team. But my conference finals matchups I already have kind of in my head. I'm gonna go. It's gonna be sound weird, but I'm gonna go Boston Knicks for the Eastern Conference.
No, they're going to be in the semis.
Yeah, sorry, semis. Sorry. I had it right here. I literally wrote it down like an idiot because I was like, maybe because they don't have the stupid. They don't do the bracket challenge as good as I thought they did. It's okay,
No,
the bracket.
They used to be good.
Now it's all at sports betting.
Hmm.
Sorry, I got Cavs and Knicks.
Yeah. That makes
Knicks.
I think the Knicks can pull it off. It's
crazy,
but
Knicks beat the Celtics. Interesting.
Interesting.
because the Knicks are a scrappy team.
Ooh. I'm rocking with it.
And then for my Western Conference, I currently have the Pacers and the no, sorry, not the Pacers. My bad, screwed up. I literally scribbled it out. I have the Nuggets and the Timberwolves.
You got the Nuggets beating OKC. Interesting. Even though I'm not gonna be surprised if they do pull it off, and
I think Jokic is gonna start trying.
I mean,
he had 21 rebounds the other day.
Yeah, 21. Yeah. Here's the thing with Denver. I mean, they got the team. It's just like their depth is gonna play a major factor to beating OKC to have a chance against OKC. Because do I see them being the Clippers? Probably, most likely, yes. It's gonna be they're gonna beat them in 6. Probably, might be going to 7. This is how like good like the series is playing out right now. But I just see them just based off momentum of this series going on and then going against OKC. And OKC is probably gonna be rusty because they just swept Memphis, so they're gonna be just chilling, waiting.
Yeah.
Or well rested.
Yeah,
there's two sides to that
coin. I think sometimes being well rested though is kind of a curse in itself because you're when you're in that playoff intensity and you take a day off, it's a little harder to get it back as quick as a team that's just finished a hard playing series.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, it depends on how many days off. I guess that's all that matters. How many days off?
I wanted to jump back into the Minnesota and the LA series because I know they played yesterday. They don't play until Wednesday. Yeah. That's 2 days off. So I think that, this 2-day break will much benefit the Lakers more than Minnesota because um the Lakers played their starters pretty much the whole game, which that's not a recipe for success. Like
No.
you can't do that, especially like giving like your star players 2 minute rest. I know KD did it, but KD can do so much back in
Mm-hmm.
2021, and guess what? He lost that series. So like you can't, and it just goes to show you can have the best player in the series, but it doesn't really matter because like the depth is not there. It's
Yeah.
all this goes down to like how deep is your roster to compete for a championship, and that's why OKC is gonna be so dangerous for probably like the next 5 or 10 years because how deep their bench is and
Mm-hmm.
how dangerous their starters are.
That kind of goes back to the finals matchup I would like to see. I know that some people might not. I want to see Knicks and Timberwolves. Obviously, we're probably not going to get that. Obviously, because of the storylines with Ant and Cat and just like that. I understand that the storylines are there, but the most realistic matchup we're probably going to get is probably Boston OKC, or could possibly get Boston Minnesota, which and then I think Boston takes it again because at that point Ant will just be just tired. I mean, deep playoff runs, you can't just give it all, throw it all out for one round. It has to be, consistent. So I don't know. It's definitely an interesting thing to go off. I think going back to your question though, Trey, the 2 days off I think benefit the Lakers more because that gives them time to regroup, get your, figure out what you get to watch film, figure out what sets you want. Change plays. JJ can change the play if he wants, change the look just based on what he's got. And I think a team like Minnesota, you have them on the ropes. You Minnesota has them on the ropes. It's like okay, now they get a break. Now it's like we can't. There's nothing we can. There's nothing you can do about it, obviously. But
They just have to keep out of their mind like that. Like we got them. We don't have to try as hard anymore.
yeah, yeah,
Gotta keep
Because
the foot on the pedal.
can't change the mentality.
Till that thing
Foot
says four.
yeah, you gotta put your boot to the throat and just freaking knock them out.
here's what LeBron's probably going to talk to the team about. Okay, let's take care of business. Game 5. In Game 6 is probably going to be the most like the toughest like game in the whole series. And then Game 7, if they win Game 6, they're probably going to win Game 5. And then Game 6 is probably going to be the most toughest like game in the whole series for the Lakers. Like, yeah, at home, like you're away in an elimination game. Like you gotta be at your best.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they pull it out, it's fair game in Game 7.
Yeah,
fair game.
Yeah, you can't let that momentum get established by the Lakers. Letting them win 2 games in a row, that'd be not good.
I think Minnesota obviously is the better defensive team, but if you let Austin Reeves or God forbid Luka get more hot than he kind of already is, it could be a problem for the Timberwolves because they're I want to say their inside the paint defense is better, obviously, than the range defense because you saw a lot of the threes that Luka was making or Reeves would shoot. It's like they did not get out there quick enough. Like they just like, oh yeah, let him shoot, and then they would make it. It's like okay, now we should probably start defending. And that's something I noticed. I was just like, that's not if they get hot out from the 3-point line, we're screwed.
That's what I think that's what's going to separate Minnesota from like being a really good team because like they're just going to be lazy like sometimes, and then like you can't really do that, especially against like good teams. If they do go like do make a deep run in the playoffs, if they do meet OKC in the playoffs, they can't take like no lackadaisical like any lazy lackadaisical. You know,
plays off.
It'd be like no plays off. You know.
No. But going from that, we'll go switch over real quick for our last topic. Won't be a long one. The NHL playoffs is heating up as well. As much as we talked basketball here, hockey is just important because hockey I think they said it's the 4th year in a row that their ratings for a first round have surpassed the NBA's. That's just for round one, though. Obviously, no one cares about round one in basketball because it's the easiest round to get by. I assume, but right now the games on that are on tonight. Only 2 games on the night because again, you have with the schedules, you have to compete with the NBA. Can't and if anything, the NBA hates doing it's sharing revenue.
Yeah. No lies there.
So at 6 p.m., it's Tampa Bay versus Florida. The Battle of Florida. Tampa Bay currently down the series 2-1. And then at 8:30, the Dallas Stars play the Avalanche, the only Dallas team, or I guess Texas team right now that anybody likes because the Rangers are struggling. Well, I shouldn't say they're not. They're not struggling. They're just last couple of games they've had a comedy of errors. If you watched on
Tell me
the last,
about it,
they had that inside the park home run that they gave up because they couldn't make a single throw.
dude.
So that was rough. But Dallas's series is tied 2 games all against the Colorado Avalanche, and they're back home for Game 5. So I think if Dallas can win this game, I think they can win the series. If they don't, they're done. They can't do it. And then tomorrow on Tuesday, God, these games start still late. At 6 o'clock, the Senators and Maple Leafs. Toronto up 3-1. Big series there. Carolina against New Jersey. Carolina's up 3-1. Then at 8:30 p.m., it's the Minnesota Wild, another Minnesota team that's somehow doing good. I think we're starting to see a trend where Minnesota team's starting to do good. Don't talk about the baseball team. They're let's ignore that.
Oh yeah, we true.
Dude, they unveiled that. They unveiled that Joe Mauer statue, and it's like, you know what? We're good. We should start sucking now. But they're beating the tied with the Golden Knights 2 games all, and then at 9 o'clock p.m., it's the LA Kings versus the Edmonton Oilers. The fact that you have to, if you're brave enough to stay up from 9 p.m. to 12, good on you because that's impressive.
Pac-12 at night.
Because people were like, okay, so an average NHL game is about 2 hours long because it's 60 minutes because you have the 20-minute period, so it's about an hour plus commercials add about an extra hour, and in between the periods is 20 minutes as well. So you're looking at about 2 hours full for a hockey game. But those are the big thing. Another little story that's developing here that I just started reading because I'm always on that top of that is Derek Carr. He has a shoulder injury. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, Derek Carr still has a shoulder injury. He's still nursing that. They don't know what's going to happen with him. He said according to Derek Carr, he's going to play next year, but that can always go either way.
Yeah, the Saints are in a lose situation because their roster's construction is terrible. The quarterback depth probably the worst in the league. I'm sorry to break it to y'all. I mean, it's kind of straight obvious. They have no sense of direction, what they want to do for their franchise. They're in the kind of limbo. It's like, I want us to be like compete, but at the same time, like I want us to like rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta pick a side. Like you can't be just mid, which like they are. They're just mid.
If Derek Carr doesn't show up and doesn't at least play average, we're gonna start hearing those whispers of, oh, they should have drafted Shador, and oh, they made a mistake, and all of this, and that's just going to be floating around. So, for our sake and for the Saints' sake, I hope that Derek Carr is a quick recovery.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that in the sports headlines every single day I turn on the
TV. Exactly. So, last thing I want to point out to you guys is here's the quarterback room for the Cleveland Browns. So their starter is Deshaun Watson. Their backup is Joe Flacco. Their third string guy right now is Kenny Pickett. And then fourth and fifth guys are Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. So that's 5 quarterbacks you have on the roster.
Hey, Kenny Pickett's the Super Bowl winner. Just saying.
Yeah, sure. Just like
that
the backup
player. If you don't play, Garrett.
he took the winning snap. He took the winning kneel.
God damn.
You
I mean,
know,
yeah.
I'm leaving.
No, I mean, he's right. I mean,
I know. Yeah, you right. You right. Okay.
Joe Flacco
What
is a
is-
Super Bowl winner.
what is one trophy though you guys would like to hold if you won it? Just without even playing, like you just get to hold it.
Oh, the Larry O'Brien trophy for the NBA.
Fair. I don't know. I for me it'd either be it's gonna be sound weird. I honestly it's gonna sound biased. I want to wear hold the Stanley Cup because you get not only do you get not only is it like one of the coolest trophies ever, you get to hold it, but you also get to have your name engraved on it, which I think is really really chill.
I'd say
But
You'd be like,
which one you're?
the Commissioner's Cup, the Commissioner's Trophy
Oh yeah, that's a
for
oh,
MLB.
that's a classic. Yeah.
That's a pretty cool
that's
one.
a good one too. Oh man, someone asked me and said, "Would you rather win the most valuable player award or uh, you know trophy? Like depends on the sport." I'm like, depends on the sport. Like if it's an MVP award, depends on like what sport. Like football, I'd probably rather win the Super Bowl, obviously, but I'd obviously like to win. But basketball, I would like to take the MVP award. I like how it looks. I don't know, it's just me.
Okay. Would you? Okay. This brings me to my question. I'm gonna ask both of y'all. But
Yeah,
would you rather have more championships or more MVPs?
that's tough. I think for me, it's gonna have to be more championships because people remember the championships more than they remember the MVP.
Garrett.
I would. I think like Matthew said, go down to the sport. I don't know. I feel like more MVPs and NBA would be cool
Mm-hmm.
because like NBA championships, not everybody, but a lot of people have won a lot. But with Super Bowls, I mean, Tom Brady, I mean, that's about
7.
20, you know.
Yeah.
There's a short list of people who have won multiple.
Exactly, and so I think when people like say, "Oh yeah, do you remember when he played?" and people are always like, "Yeah, I remember all those championships he won with the team." It's like no one says, "Oh yeah, remember when he won like 6 MVPs?" Like no one cares really. Like
Yeah.
it's like you could say, "Oh, he won 6 MVPs, but he never won a championship."
He's
And I
lost
think
to Aaron Rodgers, the two-time MVP.
yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of people when you talk about like some Hall of Fames look more about championships than they do MVPs. Like you're guaranteed, Hall of Fame if you win this championship or what have you. You know, you're better off doing that. Like for some guys, you'll see.
All pro. NFL.
Yeah, There's some guys in the NFL that I'm like you. I like look at like the list of MVP winners. I'm like, you won the MVP. Oh, you won the MVP twice, but you haven't won the Super Bowl, and you're still not in the Hall of Fame. So it's like kind of stuff.
Yeah.
At some point, they're starting to admit players though, like for the NFL at least in the Hall of Fame. And I'm like, really? That was I feel like there's a guy that's been waiting for a while that hasn't made it. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm fine with DeMarcus Ware getting in. I just don't. It didn't at the time. It didn't make sense. Now I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's DeMarcus Ware, so again, I mean, I'd rather be a. Someone said, "Would you rather be a star player that never got in the Hall of Fame, or would you be a role player that's in the Hall of Fame?" I'm like,
Role player.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Of course, role player. I'd love to be a role player that's in the Hall of Fame, like that glue guy. You know, it's like everyone's like, "Oh man, I remember he was the glue guy." Like, he didn't do a lot, but he did enough to get us in the Hall of Fame. So there's a lot of guys like that. I think the worst. What do you guys think the worst Hall of Fame is? In terms of like admitting people that you're like person should not be in there. To me, it's baseball.
I was just about to say. I was trying to think. I was like, baseball. I gotta believe because like you can't. It's a tough argument, but I'm trying to think because the NBA, there's two types of like. There's like the whole basketball, like the NBA Hall of Fame, and like the National like Basketball Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
Like everyone gets in. But the NFL Hall of Fame, top tier. NBA Hall of Fame, like Basketball Hall of Fame, top tier. Just the MLB Hall of Fame is like, it's the like I mean, like it's
Some guys
there.
that you're like, oh, Barry Bonds, he's got to be in it. No, he's never made it. Like he's about to be off the ballot, I think. And then Same thing with Pete Rose. Like Pete Rose, obviously with the ban, he'll probably never make the Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
He unfortunately he did pass away, but um, it just feels like there's some guys you're like they're excluding them for a reason, and it's just like for example, like obviously when someone said, "Well, you think Joe Flacco will be in the Hall of Fame?" I'm like, I don't know. It's one championship, so I don't really. Maybe it's but for one
Average career.
championship.
No. I mean, uh,
Is Anthony Munoz in the Hall of Fame?
I don't think
He's
so.
got to be. There's no way. He's probably like the best player that the. Well, I should say not. No, not Anthony Davis.
Good Lord.
Good
Even though
lord, no.
he might make it to the Hall of
He'll
Fame.
make it in the Hall of Fame one day. Yeah.
He's one of the best. Yeah, he was inducted in 1998. So thank God.
Hey, all I'm saying is the Mavericks are taking it home next year when everyone's healthy.
I love
We're gonna
your
come back.
optimism.
We're gonna come back to this
Oh,
when
I love my optimism. No,
we're
like
gonna come back to this when they're one of the last in the league.
I know.
Yep.
Oh, Garrett, before we what's your final prediction for the playoffs? Who's your finals matchup?
I'll say Cleveland from the Eastern Conference, and I'm I'm still sticking with it. I'm still sticking with OKC and Cleveland. I
Valid.
I like
I
that.
just think they look too good. I don't know.
I
Just the
like
way
that
they
actually.
I understand that it's the Grizzlies and I understand it's the Heat. Um, but they've beat them both handily,
Convincingly.
minus a couple
Yes.
games. And it even if it's a below par NBA team, it's still an NBA team. Like the players on that team are some of the best in the world, and so
Yeah.
Takes talent to do that. Skill.
Because my top and like finals matchup is OKC and Boston.
Mhm.
And only if Boston plays right and don't get in their head saying like, hey, we're gonna walk in here, take your lunch money, and then leave. Just because like just the name on their jersey.
Mhm.
But and OKC just gotta play right too, because this is gonna be like their first experience in the finals. Everyone's gonna be young, so
Mhm.
and then Boston, this is gonna be if they make it like to the finals this year, this is gonna be their third time.
Yep.
So that's why I think if they do meet up in the finals, it's probably going to be Boston in 6. I hate to say it, but because I do not like either of them, and I don't want them to meet in the finals. But this is going off like just talent itself and like best
Yeah.
overall team like right as of right now. I'm just saying I'm just going with OKC and Boston, and I got Boston in 6.
All right, I like that. I like that. Never forget though, the greatest person that could have ever made this possible for the Boston Celtics, Billy King, the huckster himself, is the reason that they have Jason Tatum. It just when you look back, it's the trade that because I believe it was Boston sent Garnett Pierce and Jason Terry to the
Nets.
the not the Knicks, my bad, the Nets for first round picks, and so they would not have Boston would not have the team they have if it weren't for Billy King. So I think if they win another one, you need to erect a statue of him in Boston. I mean, you just have to. What's with all these? I don't get with all these statues now. Like, I think everyone gets a statue.
Mhm. Everyone
Like,
gets a statue. Everybody gets their jersey retired. You know,
yep.
Okay,
pretty
here's
normal.
my thing. Okay, one last thing. Should the Mavericks retire Luka's jersey?
No.
No. No.
Why? He didn't play there long enough.
Yes. But if he does come back, which I hope,
If he
even
does,
though
yeah,
if
do it.
he's not, because just the
That would be
way
crazy.
that'd be crazy if he does come back. But
That's that's almost as
Things
bad as. But Trey. That's almost as bad as University of Colorado Buffalo retiring Shadur Sanders' number when he didn't do sweet FA for them. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like they didn't do it. Like if you didn't do it, I mean, I understand Luke is probably one of the best players besides Dirk to ever grace that franchise. But when you look at his overall career trajectory, he didn't really do a whole lot. At least not in my opinion, enough to warrant his jersey being retired. Maybe if he comes back and plays the rest of his career with them, oh yeah, for sure. If he wins a championship, great, do it. But
we were about
overall, I just don't see it.
something
I just don't see
special.
it.
Yeah. The individual stats are great, but he didn't do enough for a franchise to do that.
No.
We were about to do something special. We had the roster, but no.
I
Why?
think it's the same thing. It's the same thing with someone said Ant. Do you think Ant will after his career is over will he have his jersey retired? Yeah, maybe, but he has to win a championship or he has to stay at that franchise for his whole career. Which Ant doesn't seem like the kind of guy that is loyal. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like
We'll see.
Matthew.
unless they sign him to a supermax. I don't see him being wanting to stay around.
We'll have to
I really
see.
don't.
But
It don't matter. I mean, hey, just remember though, if you ever feel worthless, just remember, kids. Kristaps Porzingis won an NBA championship,
Hmm.
and he was hurt the entire playoff series.
yep, and he was there for a participation award.
Yep. Just remember, if you feel useless, you can win a championship even if you did nothing.
Just like a group project. And I was like, hey, I didn't do nothing. I still got an A.
Dude, we had so many of those in college. Oh,
For real.
there were times me and Trey were in a group, and we'd have that one guy that just would just sign his name basically. Like he wouldn't show up to our meetings, or when he did, he didn't really contribute to his meetings. The only people that I had fun working with in a group was Tyler and Arturo, because at least they were chill.
Yeah.
You know, those guys were awesome. Because
Hello, Turo, if you're watching this, we miss you and hope you're doing good.
yeah, I liked Arturo, man. Tyler is cool too. I mean, he made that whole Christmas movie, and so it was a little. It was fun to make, but it was a little racist because they killed Trey off first.
Yeah, they killed me off first. Like I got strangled by freaking Christmas decorations.
I like how I was literally in the movie for like, what was it, 20
Yeah, you were the
seconds?
elf. You were the elf.
I was in the movie for like 20 seconds. And there was a scene where I was supposed to kill, I think I was supposed to kill Tyler's girlfriend. And Tyler, I just couldn't commit. The reason I couldn't do it is because I couldn't commit to it because I was doing the internship at the time. I was doing like 4 other things at the time. During that time, but it was all right. We had fun. Also, I'm gonna say this, guys. Trey knows this. There was a church group on campus that I was a part of.
Oh no.
And Trey knows this.
Yeah.
It turns out I think they were like a cult.
Oh, we're talking about Focus.
What was it? What are they called? Alpha Omega?
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, listen, there's some people though that were in that I'm friends with that they're really cool, but like overall it was just kind of like for example, if you wanted to, Trey knows this, if you wanted to date one of them in like the group, you had to like get approval by like the higher ups. I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, they're not their parents. They can decide for themselves, can't they? Like, no, we have to make sure you can court them for like a month, and then I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I only went because they play football.
There you go.
Yeah, best day of me.
Go for the sports.
Yeah, me and Trey were on the field, and first play, I threw an absolute dime to him.
Yeah, I was
awesome.
like, yeah.
But dude, it was like I hadn't thrown a football like that since like I would say high school maybe. And it was just like a perfect spiral, like perfect, like right in the basket. I was just like, you know what? I don't need to throw a football ever again. That was too good.
Go out on top.
Exactly. The best part would be like we'd play football. Trey was never there. Usually never there. Then we'd see because we'd play over at the Texas women's soccer field, like their practice field, I guess is what they called it. And so then they would have like softball games right next door, or a soccer game, and we literally just walk over and just watch them. Just we're just there. I will say though, I used to do this. I used to go over to Texas Women's. I used to go eat at their food court because it was better than UNT's, and I'm not joking. They had a better selection.
Interesting.
But again, getting into the food court was the tricky part because you need like an ID. Yeah, and I didn't have one, and your UNT one obviously doesn't work, even though we have like a partnership with them. So it's like you have to wait for someone to open the door. But I always thought, how embarrassing would that be? I don't know. For me, it would always be embarrassing. Be like, hey, like, because I know it's called Texas Women's, but obviously they include men that want to get like a certain. So I was always like, oh yeah, where'd you go to college? Oh, I went to Harvard. Where'd you go? Texas Women's. Sorry, what was that? Texas Women's.
Texas Women's.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's just I never. It just sounds weird to me, like to be like, oh yeah, I went to Texas Women's, and I'm not disparaging anybody that goes to Texas Women's. I'm just saying it just sounds. I just doesn't sound right, I guess, to me. It sounds kooky, I guess is the best word for it. But I have to hang up my diploma, and I have not done that. I have been slacking on that bad because I just don't know where I want to put it, on which wall I want to put it on. It's not even like the frame you get.
It's not a frame.
Trey, did you get isn't yours framed?
Yep, mine's framed. It's official.
Dude, that's
nice.
That's a small
That's
frame.
sick.
I'm now licensed. I'm out.
You're like, what?
No, it's that one meme, dude.
Oh yeah. Trey, that's not a frame. This is a frame.
Oh, nice.
Trey has no idea what a frame looks like. This is a frame, Trey.
Okay, you know what, Matthew? Okay, we'll end this podcast. We out. I'm tired of getting disrespected.
Bro, that's all that happened when we were in college is you getting disrespected.
All right, guys, it was nice.
In class, in the gym. Just insane. Anyway, guys, that'll wrap up the Sports Ramble podcast, episode 30. We always have fun here. Always get a good time. But guys, we'll see you next time. We'll try to see you next time. Our schedules have been all over the place.
Crazy.
Like Garrett can't make one, I can't make one, or Trey can't make one. So we'll try to find a more consistent schedule going forward. But until then, guys, we will see you next time. Have a good one.